Hi, I'm Max, and this is KMD Motorsport. Now, I just got a call from the machine shop that my rods and pistons are done in the water jet machine. I took them in to get cleaned up because they did not look great before. They don't look bad, they're not cracked or anything, they just were dirty. Tons of carbon buildup, as expected. So before we go pick up the pistons and rods though, I'm going to talk about the block a little bit because we're going to go take it to get resurfaced or at least inspected when I go pick up my pistons and rods. So these blocks are aluminum, and if you put anything more than around 8 pounds, according to some people, of boost in them with the stock head bolts and the stock threads, you're going to lift the head straight off the block. I'd say just don't even risk it. So what can you do to prevent that? Well, you can get TIMESERTS. So a TIMESERT is basically a steel helicoil. Helicoil and TIMESERT are both brand names, but I think people are more familiar with helicoils. It's literally just a little, I'll just call them helicoils because that's what people are used to, hearing them by. But you drill out your threads in your block, and then you twist in this TIMESERT or steel helicoil, and that binds into the block much nicer. And now when you use your ARP head bolts or head studs, you will not rip the threads out of your block. And that's the problem with aluminum blocks, is that the threads can get pulled, especially when you're running boost. Even if you're doing a regular stock rebuild, just putting it back to OEM spec, you really still should do the TIMESERT, because unless you know that your block has never ever been overheated, you can still pull the threads. You can pull the threads when you're just putting the head on and tightening the bolts. They can pull, it's not like that, but you can just basically pull the threads out, just tightening them onto a stock build. Even if you do know that your motor is never overheated, it still might happen to you. So you can do the TIMESERTs yourself, but the problem that you run into is you need the jig. Not only does it help you align your drill for drilling out the threads for the TIMESERT, the plate itself actually covers up all the cylinders and the water jackets also. So you just slap the plate on, torque it down, drill it, and all the shavings should hopefully be as contained as possible. That jig is the biggest expense. If you buy the TIMESERT kit with the jig from TIMESERT, it'll cost you, I think, around $700, $750. That's no small penny. Now, if you take it to a shop to get it done, they'll already have that there. So all you're paying for is labor and the coils themselves. That's a lot cheaper. To get the TIMESERTs put in and these dowels put back in, I believe it was around $210. A majority of that was the TIMESERTs. These dowels are only like $2.50, and putting them in isn't really hard. I could have definitely done it myself, but it was already at the shop. I figured I'd ask them. I think $10 was how much it came out to for the two of those getting put in. Take it to a shop, pay the $150, $200 to get the TIMESERTs done, never worry about it again. So the reason that these threads, part of the reason that these threads will pull out if you don't have the TIMESERT, is you're putting hardened steel bolts into aluminum threads. And I don't think it takes much brain power to figure out the fact that steel pulling on aluminum isn't very nice to the aluminum. When you put these steel inserts in, now it's steel on steel. And yes, it is still aluminum around the steel insert, but the connection between the insert and the block is a lot stronger and a lot thicker than just the threads of the bolt into the block. So just get the TIMESERT. I'd say with regular TIMESERTs and replacement ARP, OEM sized ARP head studs, from what I've seen, I mean, you're safe up to 20, 25 pounds. At that point, it's not about the head lifting, it's about ring lands on your pistons breaking. If you're going for big boost, they do have something called a big cert. It's just a TIMESERT, but it's oversized for the thread. So basically, I believe from what I've read, that all they do is just drill it out a little bit bigger, put a little bit bigger of a TIMESERT in there, and then you can run even beefier head studs. But you know, I'm really only shooting for 8-10 pounds of boost. I'm not that worried about it. If I was doing forged internals and wanted to go balls to the wall with it, then I'll do the big certs. But for this build, I'm not worried about it. Now, a mistake or oversight at least that I made was that I went and got this block hot tanked and resurfaced and deglazed before I went and got the TIMESERTs done. When we put the TIMESERTs in, or when the shop put the TIMESERTs in, it kind of made a lip around the threads. Now this will probably still seal. The burrs and raised edges are only around the threads really. It's still very smooth around the cylinders, but since I'm going for a moderate high performance motor, I might as well take it to the shop, have them look it over, and tell them that I'm thinking of either cut ring, head gasket, or decompression plate. Have them give me their professional advice. So they seem like an honest shop. I don't think they're gonna take me for a ride. So we'll see what they have to say. All right, I'm gonna bag this up, throw it in the car, then we're headed to the machine shop.
So actually, that's pretty awesome. Visually. I want to go too.
So we're on our way to the machine shop right now, going to pick up the pistons and rods, and then we're gonna get their advice on the block. Honestly, hopefully they say it's okay, because then we can get right into filing the rings and all that. But if they don't, it's all right. I got the time, and yeah. So we'll update you when we know more. So we're pulling up to the machine shop now. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, I've never seen that guy before.
Nice little plug for Godwin Singer out there.
That's really because I did not want to have to wait any longer. Yeah. I figured it was fine, but I was like, I might as well. That's nice. Definitely appreciate them for that. Are they labeled or is it fine? Just oh, there it is. E6.
I stamped them. Yep, I did stamp them.
Oh, did you?
So these all should weigh. They should all weigh the same.
Okay.
And the most important thing is your direction.
Right.
Where you put your tangs to one side of the block and the direction of the piston forward.
Cool.
But as far as going in any specific spot, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But I saw that you marked them, so I marked them all right here.
Oh, awesome.
On
okay,
5.
cool.
Yep. So,
well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you. Remember about the rings? Break one of the rings and scratch it. Yep.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Typical touch right now, it was raining, so we brought everything in. Here is cylinder resizing, that's my blowing bar. This is my power hose. Cylinder resizing. Work finishes, 671 crankshaft.
Okay, yeah.
My second bar, this video I hope you got a third one here. I'm going to buy another one. Surface grinder, and that one's a CBM mill. So it's fine, that's what your block got cut on. Very fine surface stuff. Southern rod home, recondition both ends of the rods actually. We have reconditioned rods. Here is can grind the caps of the rods and also main caps in case you gotta do a line bore or something like that. Over here. Grid port, nice for just making odd cuts. If you gotta surface something that's a little bit got stuff in the way or something that's really nice to have. So they'll put in seats. We're gonna do this as a 426 Mini right here. And I'll load this into that machine, get it all squared up, and I'm going to cut the seat out and put a new one in.
Okay.
I don't have one here back. I don't have the one here back here, so that'll cut out. It'll cut the 3 angles back in, 45, 30, everything. And I'll go over here and finish them because tool bits tend to chatter and stuff. So we always finish our seats with a nice stone, can't chatter, perfect nice seat.
So you welding and all kinds of stuff.
Welding operation. Line load. We missed the line bore. Line bore was in that first room. Here's the line hone and crankshaft balancer.
Okay.
That's kind of like the full round.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. So what's
It's agitating, yeah. Okay. So there's a caustic soda in there, and all the work is sitting on this grate that's got, well, it's like a grate that here I can go ahead and it just agitates up and down. And that one's like a big dishwasher.
Okay.
It's got juts on all sides.
So that's what the pistons were?
That was the
Okay, cool.
So the block was in this,
Nope.
and the pistons were in this?
That too.
Oh, okay.
Block and pistons were washed in here.
Yep.
And what gets?
This is for ferrous metals.
Oh.
And that would eat your block right up.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Cast iron, absolutely. Yep, that'd be cast iron.
So So that was Anthony. He's the guy I've spoken to both times I brought the block, and then when I brought the pistons in too. He was really awesome. I was worried that if something was gonna have to be done to the block, then I'd have to leave it there, and then it's just more time spent not being able to work on the motor. But he just brought his sanding block out and sanded it down. He didn't have to take any material off, so it was fine. Just big old sanding block. He also said if you're ever in that kind of position, Harbor Freight sells a big lapping stone, and that would work just fine. So a little tidbit for you.
He said no power.
Yeah, no power. Yeah. Because you don't want to take any material off necessarily. You just want to kind of smooth it out. Before you do something like that, though, I would say just bring it to a machine shop and have them tell you that you can do that. Don't think that you can get away with it just because I'm telling you you might be able to get away with it. Go to a machine shop and ask them, can I get away with this? And they'll tell you. We started talking about his car. So yeah, he was talking about his 944 turbo, and it was interesting because he was talking about the head. And so apparently the heads on the turbo cars came with ceramic coating on the ports where the valves are. So you can't really port the turbo heads and put bigger valves in there. So what he did was he took the NA head and ported that, put bigger valves on that. So yeah, he took the NA head, put it on the turbo motor. I'll try this. Sometimes I hate living in Florida, but sometimes I kind of like it. I don't know, it's
more outdoors awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's very expensive in California, but from the surf to the snowboarding, from the north end to the south end, from the desert to the deep rainforest, it's a whole nation in its own world,
I'm so excited about this. It's all coming together.
Oh, we got the project. Good job. Say it wrong. Did you move all the way? I thought there was much stuff there.
I guess I'd park where she
Figure it out.